My mother-in-law broke into my house at 3 a.m. I'm moving in, your son needs my touch, but when she reached for my baby, she didn't expect what came next. Glass shattered downstairs, followed by a muffled curse that made my blood run cold. I knew that voice, the same voice that had criticized my wedding dress, my choice of career, and most recently, my parenting skills. I gripped the baseball bat from behind our bedroom door, my bare feet silent on the hardwood floor. Charlie slept peacefully in his room, unaware that his grandmother had just broken into our house at 3 o'clock in the morning. The kitchen lights blazed as I crept down the stairs. Dally Monroe stood amid a sea of scattered luggage, holding a broken flower vase like it personally offended her. Her silver-streaked hair was perfectly coiffed despite the ungodly hour. Really, Penelope? These hideous flowers by the door? I told Mark you have no sense of style. She dropped the broken pieces into the trash without a hint of remorse. Where's my son? What are you doing in my house? Dally, don't be dramatic. I'm moving in. She wheeled another suitcase through the doorway. Marcus knows all about it. My fingers tightened around the bat. Mark knows nothing about this. Oh, but he does. She pulled out her phone, showing me a text conversation. He agreed weeks ago. Didn't he tell you? My husband's messages glowed on the screen. Of course you can stay, Mom, as long as you need. Dated 3 weeks ago. The bat lowered to my side as reality sank in. My own husband had betrayed me, inviting his mother into our sanctuary without a single word to me. Now be a dear and help me with these bags. Dally gestured to the pile of expensive luggage cluttering my entryway. The guest room needs a thorough cleaning, by the way. I noticed cobwebs last time I visited. There is no guest room anymore, it's Charlie's playroom. Her face hardened. Well, that won't do at all, we'll move his things tomorrow. Children don't need that much space anyway. You're not touching my son's room. Don't be difficult, Penelope. I raised Marcus just fine without all these modern parenting notions. She began dragging his suitcase toward the stairs. Speaking of which, I've noticed Charlie seems quite attached to you, not healthy at his age. My chest tightened. He's 2. Precisely. Marcus was much more independent at that age, but we'll work on that. Footsteps creaked overhead as Mark finally awakened to the chaos below. I watched him descend, his face shifting from confusion to recognition to guilt. Mom, what are you doing here? I thought you weren't coming until next month. Plans changed, darling. She kissed his cheek, shooting me a triumphant look. The house sold faster than expected. But you said any time was fine. Remember? Mark's eyes met mine, pleading for understanding. Penny, I meant to tell you, the word came out sharp enough to make him flinch. When exactly were you planning to tell me your mother was moving in? Don't be angry with him, Dally interjected. He's such a good son, taking care of his mother in her time of need. A cry from upstairs, Charlie awakened by the commotion. Before I could move, Dally was already heading toward the stairs. I'll get him, poor dear needs his grandmother's touch. Don't you dare. My voice was barely a whisper but it stopped her mid-step. Touch my son and I swear. Mark's shock at my tone only fueled my rage. No. I moved between Dally and the stairs. This is my house, my son. You don't get to waltz in here and take over. Dally's smile never wavered. Oh sweetheart, I already have. Charlie's cries grew louder and I faced a choice, deal with my mother-in-law or comfort my son. As I turned to climb the stairs, I caught her satisfied smirk. This was just the beginning. She thought she'd won but she had no idea what I was capable of, not yet. 3 days into Dally's invasion, I found her rearranging my kitchen cabinets. My grandmother's china set, the only thing I had left of her, sat in a cardboard box marked donate. These old dishes are taking up so much space, she said, not bothering to look at me. And really, Penelope? Organizing by color instead of function? No wonder Marcus always complained about never finding anything. I clutched the box to my chest. Mark never complained about the kitchen. Oh, he wouldn't to you. She slid another stack of plates into a new spot. He's too kind, but a mother knows when her son is unhappy. The sound of Charlie's laughter drifted in from the living room where Mark was supposedly watching him. Instead, I found my 2-year-old covered in chocolate, drawing on the walls with sticky fingers while Mark dozed on the couch. I gave him a little treat, Dally called from the kitchen. Poor thing never gets sweets, all that organic nonsense you insist on. I grabbed the wet wipes and knelt beside Charlie. Hey baby, let's get you cleaned up. No. He squirmed away, leaving chocolate handprints on my shirt. Gamma said play. The word stabbed through me. 3 days and she'd already trained him to call her that. Mark. I nudged his foot. Wake up. Your son is destroying our walls. He stirred, blinking at the mess. Oh, I mean shoot. Sorry. I dozed off while your mother fed him sugar and let him vandalize the house. Come on Penny, it's not vandalism. He's just being a kid. A kid who's going to be impossible to put down for his nap now. Dally appeared in the doorway. Naps are another modern obsession. Marcus never needed them past age 2. Well, Charlie does. I lifted my squirming son. And he needs structure, not sugar and chaos. Structure? She laughed. Is that what you call your rigid little schedules? Children need freedom to explore. Mom. Mark started but she waved him off. I'm only trying to help, Heaven knows you both need it working such long hours, which reminds me, I've been thinking about the guest room situation. There is no situation, I said firmly. You're not taking Charlie's playroom. Actually. Mark cleared his throat. Maybe we should consider it, just temporarily? Mom needs her own space and Charlie has plenty of room in his bedroom for toys. The betrayal burned worse than the first night. You're taking her side? I'm not taking sides, I'm trying to be practical. Practical would have been discussing this with your wife before inviting your mother to live with us. Dali touched Mark's arm. Don't let her make you feel guilty, darling, you're being a good son. A good son? I laughed bitterly. What about being a good husband? A good father? Penny. No. I'm done. I headed for the stairs with Charlie. Clean up this mess, both of you. You see how she speaks to you? Dali's voice carried up the stairs, so disrespectful. Your father would never have tolerated this. Mark's sharp tone surprised me. Don't bring Dad into this. I paused on the landing holding Charlie closer. I'm only saying what he would have said, Dali continued, her voice softening. He always worried about you, you know? Worried you'd let someone control you. The silence that followed felt heavy with unspoken words until Mark sighed, the same defeated sound I'd heard too often lately. I'll clean up the walls, he said quietly, and maybe we can look at reorganizing upstairs this weekend. I carried Charlie to his room, my mind racing. Dali wasn't just trying to take over my house, she was rewriting history, manipulating Mark's memories of his own father. But she'd made a mistake revealing that particular weapon because I remembered Mark's father differently. I remembered the letters he'd written Mark before he died warning him about Dali's manipulations, letters that Mark had never seen because his mother had intercepted them, letters I'd found in our attic last year hidden in an old box of Mark's childhood things. I kissed Charlie's chocolate-stained cheek. Time to clean up, baby, Mommy has some planning to do. The letters felt heavy in my hands as I sat in Lisa's kitchen away from Dali's prying eyes. My neighbor poured more wine waiting for me to speak. She's playing sick now, I said, clutching her chest and taking these mysterious pills, Mark completely falling for it, classic manipulation. Lisa leaned forward. What's in the letters? Everything. His father knew what she was doing, tried to warn Mark before he died. I spread the yellowed pages across her counter. He wrote about how she isolated them, controlled everything through guilt and fake emergencies.